Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and we are back with another Game of Thrones reaction video. And today we are reacting to Season 4, Episode 3, Breaker of Chains. And as always, I am joined by my co-host, Tyler. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, how's it going?
Is it going all right? How's it going over there?
Can't complain. Another day talking about Game of Thrones. So far, so good.
The
After
title,
that last
like,
episode, especially, right?
I know we finally got like an exciting death in Game of Thrones. For once, we weren't like sad and dejected when the episode ended.
Yeah, this is like that's why I made sure I wore this shirt because that's how I felt at the end of the episode. This Patrick meme.
Well, with a episode title like Breaker of Chains, of course, I had to rock a House Targaryen shirt because you can only guess who that's in reference to. But I think you're debuting a new artwork behind you for an appropriate titled episode as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't the plan. It wasn't like I'm going to have this picture in the background for this episode because I don't know anything about this episode. But it was just during all of this, I realized that, I mean, of course, the pandemic has caused a lot of, conventions to not happen. So a lot of people are doing private signings, some people doing private signings for the first time. And I saw that Emilia Clarke was doing her first ever private signing during the pandemic. And I had to hop in on it and ball out because it was quite expensive, especially with the size of the picture I got. So I guess I could show everybody because it is pretty cool. It's a 16 by 20 and
Oh,
it's
I was
signed
like,
by
where'd she
Emilia
sign?
Clarke
I
at the
see it down
bottom.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's kind of a glare, so I can try and like zoom in.
Woo-hoo.
As someone who's really enjoyed Daenerys, at least in these first 4 seasons, it felt appropriate to add a little bit more Game of Thrones to my background. I'm slowly, I guess this is like slowly my transformation into a Game of Thrones fan over 4 seasons, right?
Daenerys presumably is returning tonight, along with your picture, because we didn't see her last episode. We were joined by our friend Leo from Geekly Goods to react to the Purple Wedding. But before we got there, we spent some time with lovely Ramsay Snow as he and his little friend Miranda hunted down and killed the other girl brutally. And then he gave Theon a shave to show his father just how much he has Reek under his control. So now Roose Bolton told him to go to the neck and take it. We saw Tyrion have to resort to getting quite mean to Shay and insulting her, telling her he doesn't love her anymore, and being mean in order for her to leave. And thus she is sent off, and Bronn assures Tyrion that she got on the boat and left. So RIP to that relationship, it seems.
Yeah, oh well, didn't end on the best of terms.
And then we saw Stannis and Melisandre burning some more of his extended family. Celeste, his wife, is just so giddy over it. She's really drinking that Lord of the Light juice. And
Something.
we learn she doesn't really love her daughter. She showed that the first time we saw her, too. She's kind of mean to her. But Stannis does have a soft spot, at least for that family member. But we see Melisandre trying to convert her and bring her over to the Lord of the Light side. But Lil Shireen not really having it. Then we had Bran get to this weirwood tree and see loads of visions, both from the past and from the future, presumably premonitions of what might be to come. And he reveals that he knows where to go on their journey north. And then the big event, the wedding. Marjorie and Joffrey are getting married. We get lots of fun roasting encounters. We get a fun conversation between Olenna and Tywin. Olenna and Sansa have a little conversation. Loras and Jaime go back and forth with each other. Cersei and Brienne meet for the first time. Cersei absolutely obliterates Maester Pycelle.
That was okay though. I was okay with that one.
But then she gets taken down by Oberyn Martell, who comes face to face and holds no punches back with Tywin. I mean, it was just madness everywhere. Everyone
It was a big great ball of roasting, and it was hilarious.
But it all leads up to Joffrey taking it past roasting and just being the terrible person he was, as he decided to take the opportunity to torture Tyrion at his wedding, pouring wine on his head, making him the cupbearer, insulting him for being a dwarf again, all the fun stuff we've come to know Joffrey for, until he is poisoned.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the mix, whether through the pie, through the drink, through some other form, little Joffrey goes down and dies in his mother's arms as she screams for them to get Tyrion and accuses him of the king's death.
Probably, at least at this point, the most satisfying death of the show.
Yeah, I said it was the only one. I forgot last time. We did get Viserys in season 1 with that molten gold over his head. That's the other satisfying death we've gotten. But
yeah, that's number 2 for me now.
Yeah, this one has 4 seasons in the making. It's definitely the most satisfying.
I know. Well, it's gonna be crazy thinking that we don't have to see Joffrey anymore.
Oh well, let's see what Breaker of Chains has in store for us.
Oh, it's almost like a celebratory kind of thing now, and Joffrey's dead now.
Do a little jig to the opening theme.
Yeah, Joffrey is dead. Yeah!
We're right back.
You did this. You did this. Where's Sansa?
Find her.
Uh-oh.
By the gates of the city.
Cersei went after Tyrion, and now look for Sansa immediately afterwards.
No one leaves the capital!
Run, Sir Dantos, take her.
Yeah, it's nice to see him again, I guess. He was kind of like randomly established he was returning, and now he's back to save the day.
Gave her a necklace, took her out of the capital.
Stronger than you know.
Yay, the adventures of Sir Dantos and Sansa. No!
Peter,
Come on!
I'm sure you've had quite a fright. Rest easy. The worst
Now she's
is
doomed.
Wait!
No! You see what I mean?
Queen's here, do you?
You see what I mean when it comes to Littlefinger? I like it. He's kind of a liar though, so I don't know if I believe him. I hate this man.
I must be cursed.
Nonsense.
Yeah, she's not picking the greatest men, I guess.
Improved markedly. You may not have enjoyed watching him die, but you enjoyed it more than you would have enjoyed being married to him. I can promise you that.
But I would have been the queen.
Well, there's Joffrey. This is Tommen's time to shine.
He spent his time hauling and hunting and drinking.
Legend.
Until the last 2 killed him.
And is what makes a good king.
Yes.
Tywin's just over here giving him a history lesson.
Your brother was not a wise king. Your brother
True.
was not a good king. If he had been, perhaps he'd still be alive.
Cersei doesn't like hearing that.
King, you will have to marry.
Tywin swooping in quick.
Wasted no time.
Gotta
The
take
body is
control
still fresh.
quick.
You know how that happened.
The body's still laying there, and he's already replacing him.
It was Tyrion. He killed him.
I mean, I think a lot of people in King's Landing wanted to kill Joffrey.
You know, I mean, your father literally
That's what he
just said,
to me.
if he was a better person, maybe he wouldn't be dead on that table.
He'll squirm his way to freedom given the chance. I want him dead.
Cersei said, screw the law and the justice system. I just want him dead. And here we go. Just making out in front of him.
You're a hateful woman.
I mean, Joffrey's like right there. Like,
Please.
okay, never mind. This is going a bit more far than I thought. In a wrong way. Well, this is taking a bizarre turn.
I don't care.
Well, just when I thought Jaime was getting better as a character.
You're Rape
All right.
Cersei in front of their dead child.
Where are we?
The warrior to give us courage in these days of strife and turmoil. We ask
Poor the
Raven
Hound,
to
he's just
protect
so
Sully's
over it.
virtue and keep her from the clutches of depravity.
You going to do
They're
us
like-
seven other fuckers?
Father.
I see the Hound is not the greatest dinner guest. Like, I'll take this.
How's a mess?
I'm so sorry.
Alright, it's like, yo, I'm hungry too. I got it.
Oh man, this is like dripping everywhere and everything.
Told me you weren't a thief.
I wasn't.
He took us in.
They'll both be dead come winter. Dead men don't need silver.
You're the worst shit in the Seven Kingdoms.
The Hound is
Plenty
just
worse than me.
a thief now, I guess.
Stand the way things are. How many stars they got to behead before you figure it out?
Oh,
That's a low blow, man.
There he is, Sam the Slayer.
Going to visit your wildling
That's what we're
home?
calling him now. Sam the
Oh,
Slayer.
No?
Poor Gilly. She's just surrounded by all these people of the Night's
All
Watch.
the time. 100 men, 1 woman.
Oh, see, Sam and I are on the same wavelength here.
That's the only thing I think about.
It's a lot of men.
I'm not
Are you bored of me?
wow. Everyone's just chasing their like little girlfriends
I want
away.
to
First
protect you.
John, then Tyrion, now Sam.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be good to have an actual relationship in this show.
I'll get
I've kind of noticed that as the show's progressed. Like,
And when they're
people in
not chased away,
relationships,
they're stabbed in their pregnant stomach. So, you know,
or they're related.
or they're really.
Oh, baby Sam
Oh,
and
baby Sam.
adult Sam.
Adult baby Sam.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
You're a literary man now. What do you make of that?
Why is he making fun of the fact he can read now? You're a literary man now that you can read.
We don't have any gold.
Not yet.
Maybe Lady Melisandre can craft up some sort of ritual to get some gold.
My claim will be for
Weeks ago. You're your father's daughter, and no mistake.
He's like, why is everybody roasting me about my reading?
one today.
I know. God forbid somebody learns how to read in this place.
Give you a piece of it.
no other work.
Trying to make Sam a pimp.
Sam is scared for her up there and brings her to a literal brothel.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like an improvement to me. This seems more like a downgrade.
Please don't.
Another breakup coming. They're just having an all-out orgy. Oh, and he did get his guy. It's good for Oberyn.
You like them both the same? Boys and girls.
Does that surprise you?
Everyone has a preference.
A bisexual icon. Tywin's here to ruin the party.
The Lannisters always just walking in at the wrong time.
Would you like to sit?
No, thank you.
Like, nah.
No.
I'd
Nah,
rather not touch
actually.
anything. Thank you, though.
Hatred for my family is rather well known.
I think it's kind of too obvious, I guess, that he would be a suspect.
2 days later, my grandson dies.
So you deny involvement in Elias' murder?
Categorically. East, a Targaryen girl has 3 dragons. Before long, she will turn her eyes to Westeros.
At least we see that Tywin is still nervous about her somewhere out in the world. Everyone else seems to just be ignoring her.
You help me serve justice to the king's assassins, and I will help you serve justice to Elias.
An interesting deal. Oh, poor Tyrion.
Oh, Tyrion.
Aw, at least he gets to see his friend.
The world is a better place without him, but I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think if I were arranging a royal assassination, I'd plan it in such a way that I wouldn't be standing there gawking like a fool when the king died. Give it to my father. He never fails to take advantage of a family tragedy.
I'm supposed to get a list of names from you.
It doesn't seem like the most fair trial, if you ask me.
Testify on your behalf.
It's not looking good for Tyrion, I'll tell you that.
He came to ask if I'd testify against you. Said I'd be named Sir Podrick Payne. Didn't tell them anything, my lord.
A true friend right
Are you
there.
going to accept their offer? Then get yourself out of King's Landing before it's too late.
Lord!
This is farewell.
No, not farewell. No farewell. Not farewell.
There has never lived a more loyal squire.
Right in the heart. Right in the feels.
Tyrion.
And not good to be closely related to Tyrion right now when it comes to friends and family.
Better than your mum. She got.
Oh, all right.
Oh, hey, Egret.
What a great entrance to an episode. Talking about potatoes and dead. Oh no, the cannibals! Run, boy. Ooh. Jesus.
I'm going to eat them. Do you hear me? I'm going to eat your dead mama, and I'm going to eat your dead papa. Go tell the crows at Castle Black.
Even if every one of us kills 100 wildlings, there's still not a thing we can do to stop them.
I don't think I can kill 100 wildlings.
Yeah, I believe it. I don't think he could either.
Thanks for being honest.
Yay, Daenerys. We haven't seen her in so long. I guess it was a long trip to get there. So.
All them mile markers, all them kids.
It was like over 100-something miles of dead people. It's a nice looking place.
Great pyramid.
What is he doing?
I believe he means to...
Oh. Okay.
Ignore him, Your Grace.
What kind words.
Not meaningless if half the city you intend to take is listening to them. I've been by your side longer than any of them, Khaleesi.
Jorah's ready to do it.
Today as well.
Literally, it's always ready to rip everything.
I guess it has to be Dario then. He's the only one they haven't mentioned yet.
I was the last to join your army.
This new Dario.
Very well.
She's like, okay.
Daenerys is like, well, you're my least important person,
okay.
so have fun.
Yes.
The one that thinks would be hilarious if she just sent one of her dragons over there and he just roasted him.
Here's my champion, bitch.
I guess that's not allowed, or it's frowned upon. All right, let's go, new Dario. Let's see what you got. He seems very confident. That easy.
Well.
2 blows. He took him out in 2 strikes.
Poor horse. I was so sorry.
The animals in this show are not treated very well.
Now these people shooting these arrows.
And once he up now, he's gonna do the same thing. Savage. And she's like, "You're next." Oh, they're shook. Oh man, they got a catapult. Where did they get those? When did they get those?
They've been working.
Like, was that part of like the package deal? She got the army? A lot of chains.
Oh.
Hmm. All right, we're ending the episode there. Okay.
I love her like military theme so much.
Yeah, it is a good theme.
Music.
I was just so like in all, like when did these catapults come into the picture? Like, did they make them? Like, did they come with the package with the army?
Maybe they were in the last city, Yunkai somewhere.
They
And
just took them. Yeah, they just took them with them.
Well, that was Breaker of Chains. How did you feel about episode 3 of season 4?
I thought it was pretty good. It was a good kind of follow-up to the last episode because the last episode was so strong. Like, some of it did carry over into this episode, so it was still very entertaining. I think I kind of like this kind of format because it's showing us more of the storylines that I actually do really enjoy, and we're not getting some of the storylines I'm not as big a fan of. Without going in, I guess, too in depth with the storylines I like and dislike, you can kind of tell.
Well, we kick off the episode literally right where we ended episode 2 with Cersei screaming with Joffrey in her hands, and they start looking for Sansa because she pieced out with Dantos. They tried to lock the city down, but they weren't quick enough. Sansa escapes, and we find out that Littlefinger is the one who sent Sir Dantos, and in order to ensure he keeps his mouth shut, decides to kill him.
Ridiculous.
So,
I don't like it.
Sansa is with Littlefinger going somewhere.
I mean, come on, man. Like, Sansa cannot catch a break, you know? Like, I feel bad at this point, you know? Because like the whole time she's always been in, like, you know, terrible situations, and she finally goes to someone and escapes, and then she's just Littlefinger. Like, it's just like frustrating. Well, you know that he doesn't have the greatest motivations that are in her best interest. You know, it's all about Littlefinger and whatever he's doing.
At best, his motivations are seemingly creepy, so
great way to describe it.
And then we go back to the Capitol, in which we are having a nice little consultation between Tywin and Tommen over Joffrey's dead body. He is one of those little Lannister children murdered by Lord Karstark last season. That was the recasting of Tommen. Yeah. He just moved on over.
He came back to life as the Lannister.
Yes, he came back to life as new face of Tommen Baratheon. We saw Tywin obviously has been wasting no time making moves. He's making moves left, right, and center this episode, starting with Tommen getting his claws in, making sure Tommen listens to him as he starts grooming him to be king. And then we get a controversial scene because, one, obviously what happens in it is just generally pretty controversial.
That was weird, like in general.
But two, it's one of those that they deviate from the books. That's not what really happens in the books between the two. And the director apparently didn't intend for it to be a rape of the body. And
it seemed pretty much like that to me.
I don't know how. Honestly, the director. The director's come out and said it was a mistake. He didn't want it to be that way. But yeah, no, I don't know how you direct that scene and shoot that scene and then edit that scene and not realize it's very clearly rape.
Was it written that way as well? Because it's not like they just. I would imagine they wouldn't just shoot that on the fly, like like, hey, how about we shoot this like assault scene today? Let's just decide to throw that into the episode. I imagine that was probably written that way and they shot it that way, but I don't know.
And as you said in the reaction, I think it's a lot of people's reaction is you're like, oh, great. I was just like really liking Jamie. He had this full season of character growth. And then he rapes his sister over their child's dead body. Oh.
Yeah, that was a bit jarring. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that now.
Even though you don't like anyone involved, you don't like Cersei, you don't like Joffrey, you're still like, oh, what the hell is this?
Yeah, because I may not like them, but I'm not like rooting for them to be assaulted either.
Well, and not by him, somebody we were starting to like. You're like, oh, great. Okay, well, you still have your crappy tendencies as soon as you get around Cersei, I guess.
I guess, he just couldn't control himself, I guess, for some reason.
Also in King's Landing, we do see Marjorie and Olenna for just a scene in which Olenna is basically just like, look, I know it might have traumatized you for a hot minute, but trust me, rather watch him die like that than be married to him. And the next one should be easier. So
That's
we'll
good.
see what happens with the Tyrells as they continue to scheme.
I'd imagine with what Tywin was talking about, I guess not to get ahead of myself when it comes to predictions, but it seems like they're trying to make Tommen kind of just upsert Joffrey because it's just going to be another one instead. It'll be Tommen and Marjorie and not Joffrey and Marjorie. I mean, just with the way that Tywin's talking to him about being king and all that stuff, unless they're just going to kill Marjorie and just start all over again.
Also in King's Landing, we saw Tyrion locked up in jail. He has that sweet little scene with Podrick in which he learns that they're already trying to like bribe Podrick to lie and testify against Tyrion.
Sir Podrick Payne.
Yeah, and thankfully he's a good person. He tells Tyrion, and Tyrion orders him to leave immediately before they kill him because he told them no. Bye, Pod. We'll see what comes of him and his character.
I hope it's not forever goodbye.
We see Oberyn and Ilaria got what they wanted, went back to the brothel, and Tywin interrupts the fun to, once again, continue scheming to try to get Dorne aligned with House Lannister and offers Oberyn Martell not only a juror seat on Tyrion's trial, but also a seat on the king's new small council. So how'd you feel about all that happened in King's Landing this episode?
Oh man, I mean, there's so much
that went down.
There's always so much stuff going on in King's Landing these days. Not a great situation for Tyrion to be in. It seems like all of the cards are stacked against him. They're kind of rigging his trial, if you will, you know. So I hope that he could somehow weasel his way out of it, like Cersei, I guess, put it. You know, he'll find a way to weasel his way out of it somehow.
Cersei's apparently plotting to try to think of how to kill.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's the other thing. You know, he's either going to weasel his way out of it if they have a trial, or we're just going to have to kill him before the trial. I mean, I'm glad that Podrick was loyal to his, you know, to Tyrion and didn't snitch so he could be Sir Podrick Payne. But hopefully it's not forever. You know, hopefully it's not a forever goodbye where he gets killed or we just don't see him again because he goes off and just disappears. Like I guess Shay is doing at the time. You know, she just sails off into the unknown. Oberyn and Ilaria, they're quite the duo. Like, I mean, we haven't seen too much of them outside of just having a lot of like gratuitous sex scenes, but at least when they are on screen, they're chewing up the scenery, so they're very entertaining characters to be around. So I mean, Pedro Pascal's great, and the actress that plays Ilaria is saying, I don't remember her name offhand, but she's great as well. I haven't seen her in anything else, so that's why I'm not like familiar with her all that much. I think like Oberyn, I could see Oberyn doing all of these roles, but I can also definitely see him kind of turning because he doesn't like the Lannisters, and I think he just wants to fight the Mountain. It seems like he's very clear, like he just wants to fight the Mountain and kill the Mountain for what they did to his sister, and he's kind of just biding his time. It seems like I think he's just along for the ride, trying to play the game. It seems like a lot of people in this show play the game, you know, as long as they can until they don't have to.
Well, up at the wall, we saw Samwell get nervous about these rapers and thieves and all these men around Gilly and the baby. So he takes her to Morristown, and
a worse place.
She's now staying in a brothel with people who don't like wildlings. This woman who's like, we can put her to work and get you some money.
Yeah, trying to make him a pimp. We're trying to make Samwell a pimp.
Yeah, and obviously Gilly is not too happy about it. She doesn't see this as a better place for her to be. But that's where Samwell leaves her and heads back. And then we see Jon letting them know with the situation beyond the wall about these wildlings. They're coming strong. And Gren and Ed find their way back to the wall and give them a little bit more of an alert about the guys who broke off from the Night's Watch and killed Craster and have taken up root there. And we see the wildlings. Ygritte is going savage.
Literally.
We see her and Tormund. They've joined up with these frickin' cannibals, and the one named Steer grabs this boy and holds him at knife point and tells him, I'm about to eat your dead mom and dad. And go tell the Night's Watch that we're coming. How'd you feel about everything that happened up at the wall and north?
Well, I mean, the whole Samwell thing, I feel like that was kind of messed up. I feel like that situation wasn't an improvement. She's away from all of that because it seems like the wildlings and the cannibals and all them are going to be heading towards them. So maybe it's best that she's down there, over there with them, down in the brothel. But I mean, but it's not like a great situation either way. So it seems kind of like a lose-lose. Yeah, I mean, I guess Samuel's trying to be nice. You know, he had the heart there, but I don't know if it was in the right place. The best of judgments. Yeah, the wildlings showing up with the cannibals and just like pillaging this entire town, and the one lead cannibal, as you said, talking about eating his dead parents and then go send them a message. That was pretty dark and grim, which is not a surprise for Game of Thrones at this point. So I mean, I'm desensitized to that stuff, but still, it was just a surprise, I guess, seeing Ygritte kind of turned heel at this point. I mean, poor John.
She
I feel like
responded with violence to a broken heart. She chose violence.
Poor John. I mean, John, you know, he's kind of like stuck in the middle of all this stuff. Practically literally between the stuff with Ygritte, the wildlings, and now he's with the Night's Watch again. Maybe he should have alerted them a little bit sooner.
Well, we also see Arya and the Hound come across this father and his daughter who take them in because they're loyal to House Tully. Arya fibs a little bit, though she herself obviously would fight for House Tully if she could. But they take them in. He offers the Hound a job and like money to help him around the farm and food. And then the Hound beats him and steals his silver.
They take their food and then their money and then leave.
And obviously Arya is very upset about it. How do you feel about their little scene this time around?
I do enjoy them together, Arya and the Hound. I think that they're one of the big highlights, at least in the scenes that they have together, no matter what the episode is. I mean, up until that point, it was entertaining just seeing the Hound and Arya at least try to fib their way into this whole, you know, eating and living situation, at least until the Hound kind of just turned and just decided, I'm going to beat you up and take your silver anyway, and then leave. He didn't have to work for it. He just took it and left. I don't know. I mean, Arya, it seems like she has such like a weird relationship with him. I mean, she, ever since the beginning, you know, she wanted him dead immediately. Now they kind of need each other. They're kind of like working on the relationship, and then seemed like it was going well for a period of time, and then he kind of just squanders it by beating them up and taking it anyway, and then yelling at her and talking about the Starks and their heads, and I don't know. I mean, I still like them together. I just seems like the relationship's getting kind of strained at this point.
Well, then we also see Stannis Baratheon getting news that the second leech is dead. First it was Robb, now it's Joffrey who has fallen, but he doesn't have any way to take advantage. He doesn't have the ships needed, he doesn't have the armies needed, kind of screwed. So he basically gives Davos a little bit of a veiled like threat ultimatum of like, I'm running out of time, so are you. And Davos goes and, you know, talks to Shireen a little bit and inadvertently gets an idea. So has Shireen write to the Iron Bank on behalf of Stannis. So we didn't see much of them this episode, but any thoughts on Stannis's story arc right now?
I guess it would have been, maybe he should have waited, I guess, a little bit longer. If he didn't try and strike already, and maybe he would have had that massive army that he stole from Renly and all of them. So maybe if he had that army still, he would have benefited from it, at least at this point in time. I don't know. I figured maybe Lady Melisandre has some crazy spells that could help with that, but I guess none of her spells involve money. So should be interesting. I think the funniest thing out of it was like everybody just cracking on Sir Davos now that he can read. Like the man gets clowned on because he can read now. Like poor guy.
Well, then we end the episode with pretty much the title. We see Daenerys, they finally have made it, and they're rolling up on Meereen with her unsullied army, and they send out their champion. She basically goes through all her people and are like, no, I can't spare you. I need you alive.
You're
Okay,
you're too important.
Yeah.
Okay, Dario, you do it.
You're good. Come on out. He uses his brains, I guess, kills the poor horse, and then slices that guy down and pees in front of everyone in retaliation.
Yeah, I was like, he still has his appendage.
This leads to Daenerys giving another speech, this time giving this speech to the slaves, basically saying, I'm not here to hurt you or conquer you. I'm here to give your slave owners what they deserve. Fires these big barrels. At first, you're like, whoa, did she just like firing on the city? But no, it's not meant to kill, not really even meant to harm anyone, more to send a message. She sends these barrels in full of the collars of all of the slaves they have freed so far. And we see that clearly these little slaves have gotten the message and get what she's throwing down. So how'd you feel about that ending with Daenerys?
I thought it was pretty entertaining. I mean, I always enjoy them. I mean, we haven't really gotten too much of them in the last couple episodes. I mean, it was kind of a long journey, I guess. So you didn't want to just. I guess they were busy in the interim, as we see now. They
possibly
have catapults.
Building catapults, possibly pushing them. We don't know.
Well, that's what I mean. They got catapults now. They gathered all of those chains to put them in barrels so they can launch them.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were busy. So I guess that makes sense why they were off screen for so much time. But I mean,
they were also burying those kids. They looked at them and took them all down and buried them.
That's what I mean. They were busy. Apparently, they've been really busy on that trip. So more power to them. But it was a good scene. I guess I kind of figured Dario was going to be the one, especially as Daenerys went through all of her people. Like, you're too important. You're too important. And of course, up until that point, it was either Missandei or Dario.
Go out there, Missandei.
I was like, I mean, of course it's gonna be Dario. He's the warrior of the bunch that's kind of new to the team. So I guess he's still trying to prove his place in it. Still trying to adjust the new face, Dario. But he's still pretty cool. I mean, great to see him just showing his dominance over the person they sent out there, and then just kind of making fun of all the people up there. And then Daenerys has her moment about freeing the people. I mean, I kind of like this whole like Daenerys thing where it's like, I'm going to free you whether you like it or not, but you still have the free will if you want to come with me.
Yeah.
Like I'm freeing the slaves, but you don't have to come with me. But I'm going to forcibly free you.
I have to say,
so that's great to see.
It's like we got the speech at the end of episode 10, and then we see it kind of in practice here. I like this idea of, I can't totally free you. I need you to have that like autonomy. Like I'll send the message and now free yourself. Like take your freedom and I will assist you in taking your freedom.
Yeah, that seems to be the right approach, I feel, for her character. We're going to free you, but like you're still gonna have to help, I guess, in the process, or choose your freedom along the way. I still thought it went hilarious. I mean, I guess because I was thinking kind of like the hilarity of like Indiana Jones, like the scene in Indiana Jones where the sword guy comes out of nowhere swinging his sword and Indy just shoots him. I was thinking maybe they could just do that here, where like here's this guy with this javelin and all that on his horse. Like send one of your dragons after him. Roast him. You have 3, and they're pretty big now.
Now the dragons are chilling somewhere. So we started talking about a little bit. We have the idea of the new king and the Tyrells trying to plot on their next victim for Marjorie to seduce.
Yeah, she's not having the best of luck right now.
We have the Night's Watch kind of preparing, and the wildlings with those cannibal wildlings marching their way towards the Night's Watch. We have Daenerys trying to free the slaves of Meereen next, and we have Tyrion's impending trial. So what are your predictions moving forward?
Well, I definitely think Tyrion's going to have a trial. I hope it's successful, at least in his favor, where he gets to live and he's free and he's innocent. I imagine Daenerys is going to free them because she seems to have quite a good track record when it comes to freeing people. It seems like these people seem a little bit more willing to be freed than maybe some of the other ones that we've seen so far, especially based on the last scene. It seemed like they were very ready to be freed compared to some of the other places we've stopped along the way. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a big war between the Night's Watch and the wildlings and the cannibals. I don't think that's going to happen next episode. I think we're kind of like leading up to that still, so that's not going to happen probably anytime soon. I guess Tommen has to be the new king. Like I feel like he just based on what they've laid out so far, he's given him Tywin's given him the speeches about being a good king, and Joffrey's dead, Marjorie's I guess queen, so you have to have someone be the king, and of course you're going to just throw in the next Lannister.
And then, who were your faves and least faves for this episode? We didn't get a whole lot of the worst people this time. We didn't have to actually look at the Freys or the Boltons. So yay.
Well, yeah, that's why it's kind of tough, I guess, to pick some of the least faves. I mean, the faves. I mean, Daenerys is great. Tyrion's great. Oberyn and Ilaria are great. Podrick, the MVP, great friend. Dario was pretty badass in his little moment he had. I mean, I liked Arya and the Hound up until the Hound just beat up that dude and took his silver. But so yeah. I would still put them in the faves category, but hopefully the Hound maybe grows a heart or something, and he doesn't have to. He just beats up everybody along the way. Least faves. I mean, Joffrey's dead, so I have to have someone else be my least fave, I guess. And I guess it has to be within the same family, because I feel like I have to put Jaime at least fave for the assault. I mean, that's kind of the most messed up thing of the whole episode.
Stir, the cannibal.
He was second place for me. So it would probably be Jaime and Stir, the leader of the cannibal people. So
another least fave of yours returned, Littlefinger, this episode.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really do much, but I guess I would put him in least faves just because I don't like Littlefinger, because I don't trust him or anything to do with that story. Yeah, I don't have any predictions really for where that's going, because we don't. Well, yeah, because they're just on a boat in a bunch of fog, so I don't know where they're going. What's the plan? I just know that's probably going to be bad for Sansa, because Sansa seems to be going from bad situation to bad situation. So I feel terrible for her.
Yeah. All right, so that was our reaction and discussion for season 4, episode 3, Breaker of Chains. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on all of our latest Game of Thrones reaction videos. Also, make sure that you are following and subscribed to Tyler. So, want to let them know where to find you, Tyler?
Yeah, sure. If you search up my name on YouTube, you'll find my channel where I talk about movies and all that stuff on the channel, just like Larry does. And you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at It's Tyler Calvert.
Perfect. And let us know, what are your thoughts on season 4, episode 3? Do you like the episode? Think it was all right, or not really care for it? Let us know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit either one of us up on Twitter.
Also,
yes.
I hope you guys like my photo of Daenerys. I'd like to know your thoughts about it down below as well.
Yes. We're getting Tyler's background GOT'd up, since I'm now in my little corner. But
for now, I've of all the things I've heard about as the seasons progress, maybe it'll be less and less Game of Thronesy.
All right, well, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.